What's up, Bulldog Nation? I'm Hailey Tucker for SWOSU Athletics, and today on my segment of Hanging with Hailey, I have here with me head football coach Chet Pobolish. Coach, thanks for coming out this morning to hang with us.
Thanks for having me.
And I feel really honored sitting next to an All-American, a captain at Emporia State. How does your experience as a player roll over into your head coaching experience?
I think it does a lot. Just the experiences I had, more than anything, probably things that we did that I don't want to repeat, and things that I like that we do repeat. But, looking at me, a lot of people didn't realize I actually played college football. So it's nice to get a little bit of credit.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you're a wide receiver, right?
Yes.
That's awesome. And then you were a different coach, I feel like at different universities. I mean, wide receivers coach, offensive coordinator. How does that roll, like I said, into your head coaching experience? I mean, how does that help you?
I think it helps a lot. It probably more than anything, it helps the staff because I feel like I can give good input in different areas where maybe it's an area I've coached in the past and maybe some different things or different approaches I can have to some different areas of, especially offense and special teams. That's where most of my expertise has been or most of my experience has been. So it helps the staff, and they know that they can come to me with questions and maybe situations that have happened to me in the past.
Mm-hmm. And with your offensive coordinator that you just hired and everything, are you going to be like, hey, we need to do this because I know about this, or are you just going to let them roll with it?
Yeah, I'll let them roll with it. I think they know that they can use me as a reference, but, I don't want to hire guys that I have to look over their shoulder, and I know they don't want me looking over their shoulder, and they know that if there's something I can help them with, they feel comfortable coming to me. But, yeah, no, it's their show. They're going to run it.
With spring practices that just started, have you noticed any individuals that are standing out to you and anybody new that you are just really excited about?
The whole team I'm excited about, but I know Casey Freeman has started to separate himself. I think he's having a really good spring. We're running a completely different system, completely different terminology, and his growth as a football player has grown exponentially since spring ball started. On the other side of the ball, DJ Johnson was having an incredible spring, as not only as a player but as a leader. The things that he says, he's a great teammate. He practices hard. He makes everybody better around him. Another one is Braden Sweet, has really stood out to me. He's a very intelligent football player. He works very hard. He might not be the most athletic kid on the field, but he probably makes as many plays as anybody. So I'm pleased with those guys overall.
And when you first came in talking to these players, I mean, did you, especially since you were a football player, how was it talking to them and being like, hey, I know that you've been in a different system. I'm going to reiterate a new system. How did that go for you?
It went good. First all the kids look at me and they're apprehensive because they don't know what to expect. So that approach was a little bit different. We're trying to change a culture. There was nothing wrong with the culture here in the past. And, it's just we're different. It's just we do things a little bit different. We say if we're going to be different than everybody else, then we've got to do things different than everybody else. So that was a little bit of a steep learning curve. But every day we grow our relationship with the players and the coaches every day, and every day we learn a little bit more about each other. And it's just like any other relationship; it grows as you move forward.
With your recruiting process, with you being you moved around a little bit, how does that help you in terms of you can say, hey, call up this coach and be like, hey, I'm at Southwestern Oklahoma. Do you have any guys? Does that help you a lot?
It really does. We've got connections all over the country. We've been, very adamant we're going to recruit Oklahoma first, which is why when I had a chance to hire a new offensive line coach, I hired Coach Stutz because he's from Lawton and he's pretty well known in Oklahoma. But there are coaches around that will call me from my experience and say, hey, coach, because, I have a kid, can you look at him? And probably more than anything is my reputation of treating kids and how I've handled them, and people have respected that, I think. They know what they're going to get. So, I say this all the time, we practice radical transparency. So people know when they come to this program, we're not going to hide anything from them. We're going to show them exactly what we have to offer. And if they come here, it's going to be because of that. And if they don't, then we're not going to worry about it.
How many kids have you signed already for this program? I mean, I've heard it's an enormous amount.
Yeah, we're around 85 new players coming in. That's an astronomical amount because, every one of those players has to be vetted. We have to not only make sure that they can play for us, but they're going to fit here in Weatherford, that they're going to be productive citizens in the community, that they're going to work hard, that they're going to get a degree. So my staff has done an outstanding job of finding players that can come in and help us, but also finding good young men that will represent this university. And I think every one of them to a man, every one of those 85 is excited to be a Bulldog. Not just excited to play football for me, but excited to be here, to be at SWOSU, to be a Bulldog. And that's really incredible. And the freshman orientation has been going on right now, and we've had 20, 30 kids at every one. They come out at practice and they're just so excited to be here. So that's a really great feeling.
So you're the reason why SWOSU's numbers are going up, huh?
Well, I'd like to think that we helped. I mean, that's one thing that we want to do is we want to bring people here, and we want to, even the ones that aren't going to make it, they're going to have a great experience, and I still think they'll stay and be Bulldogs because this is just a tremendous place, and when we get kids on campus, they want to come to school here.
And when you talk to them about Southwestern and in Weatherford, I mean, what do you tell them from your experience living in Weatherford for almost a couple months now? I mean, how has it gone for you?
I mean, my wife just got down here, and Weatherford, the community and the people sell itself. And if you just tell people, these people are great and they're going to treat you right and they're going to be really nice, and then as soon as the first person they meet, they experience that, and it kind of sells itself. We've had a tremendous amount of, success with just when we get our kids out in the community, recruits, and they just get a good feeling and a good vibe, and the same vibe like when I came here for my interview that I got, the same vibe they get, and I think that's why we've been so successful in recruiting up to this point.
Mm-hmm. And heading into the spring game this weekend, I mean, it's Friday. That's your first event or one of your first events as a SWOSU Bulldog. Are you excited to be able to see your team in action and have the fans come out and watch you?
Yeah, I really am. I'm more excited as a football coach to evaluate our kids. You're an elite college football player. Or not a football player. You're a basketball player. But you understand that it's a little bit different when the lights are on. There's players that are good when it's practice time, that do drills right, but when the lights are on, sometimes you see some people really step up their game, and some people really kind of aren't at the point where you think they are. So more than anything, I'm excited to evaluate these kids when the lights are on, there's people in the stands, and kind of see where we really are as a football team. That's what I'm most excited about.
Well, Coach, thanks for coming and hanging out with us today, and have fun this weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And make sure that you head on out to the football field Friday night at 7:30 to watch your Bulldogs in action.